Have you ever wondered how one single speech can change the course of history? In February 1860, Abraham Lincoln accepted an invitation to give a speech at Henry Ward Beecher's Plymouth Church in Brooklyn, New York. Even though his political credentials were unimpressive, his one term in Congress 14 years earlier being his only experience in elected office, Lincoln had garnered national attention in his unsuccessful 1858 Senate campaign against Stephen Douglas, and he was coming to be seen as a potential presidential candidate. By then, although he knew he would be a dark horse candidate, Lincoln had made up his mind to attempt to win the Republican nomination for president at the party's convention in May, and he recognized that the speech would be an opportunity for him to make a favorable impression in the home state of William Seward, one of his principal rivals for the nomination. Upon his arrival in New York, Lincoln learned that the location of the speech had been moved to the Cooper Union Building in Manhattan, where a capacity audience of 1,500 gathered to see and hear for the first time the rising political figure from Illinois. The speech would become a national sensation, elevating Lincoln's reputation and helping propel him toward the Republican nomination and the presidency. Lincoln knew that for the Republican Party to be viable, and for Lincoln himself to be a viable candidate, it would have to overcome the charge that the party was composed of radicals and dangerous insurrectionists steering the country toward disunion. Lincoln's speech was therefore carefully designed to show that his party's position on slavery was in fact moderate and in line with American historical precedent. He began the speech with a refutation of Douglas's claim that the framers of the Constitution did not believe the federal government had the authority to prohibit slavery in the territories, demonstrating that at least 21 of the 39 signers of the Constitution had believed that the federal government could in fact do so. As those fathers marked it, so let it be again marked, Lincoln said, as an evil not to be extended, but to be tolerated and protected only because of, and so far as, its actual presence among us makes that toleration and protection a necessity. Lincoln then directly addressed the Southern people, if they would listen, as I suppose they will not, intending to show his Northern audience that the Southern accusations against the Republican Party were unfounded. After arguing that Republicans were not sectionalist or revolutionary and had not been supporters of John Brown specifically or insurrection generally, Lincoln concluded, "But you will not abide the election of a Republican president. In that supposed event, you say, you will destroy the Union, and then, you say, the great crime of having destroyed it will be upon us. That is cool. A highwayman holds a pistol to my ear and mutters through his teeth, 'Stand and deliver, or I shall kill you, and then you will be a murderer.' To be sure, what the robber demanded of me, my money, was my own, and I had a clear right to keep it, but it was no more my own than my vote is my own. And the threat of death to me to extort my money, and the threat of destruction to the Union to extort my vote can scarcely be distinguished in principle." Next, Lincoln called upon his party to show restraint and practice moderation, probably more restraint than many modern readers would find acceptable. "It is exceedingly desirable that all parts of this great confederacy shall be at peace and in harmony one with another. Let us Republicans do our part to have it so. Even though much provoked, let us do nothing through passion and ill temper. Even though the Southern people will not so much as listen to us, let us calmly consider their demands and yield to them if, in our deliberate view of our duty, we possibly can." Lincoln closed the speech with a call to action. "Wrong as we think slavery is, we can yet afford to let it alone where it is, because that much is due to the necessity arising from its actual presence in the nation. Can we, while our votes will prevent it, allow it to spread into the national territories and to overrun us here in these free states? If our sense of duty forbids this, then let us stand by our duty, fearlessly and effectively." Let us be diverted by none of those sophistical contrivances wherewith we are so industriously plied and belabored, contrivances such as groping for some middle ground between the right and the wrong, vain as the search for a man who should be neither a living man nor a dead man, such as a policy of don't care on a question about which all true men do care, such as union appeals beseeching true union men to yield to disunionists, reversing the divine rule and calling not the sinners but the righteous to repentance, such as invocations to Washington, imploring men to unsay what Washington said and undo what Washington did,